All right, Joe, I'm going to go through some multiple choice questions. I realize the print copy is not fantastic, but we're just going to have to get by the best we can. And I'm going to go through these. And there are 4 versions of the Unit 1 multiple choice test. Each version has one question directly off of this practice that I'm fixing to do. So it is. If your friends are worried, and I'm not saying you're going to get a ton of questions, you're only going to get one freebie, but there'll be questions that will be on the test that'll be similar to this. And we get to skip one because it's no longer in Unit 1 because that's just how they do it. All right, so right here it says you measure the age and marital status and income, earned income of an SRS, which we haven't done that yet, but that's simple random sample of 1,463 women. What is the number and the type of variables you measured? All right, so we measured age, marital status, and earning income of 1,463 women. So that's it right there. Those are the 3 categories. Now, it says 4 or 3 in the answer choices, but we already know it's 3, so these are out. I'm not even going to get into that anymore. Now, age is quantitative. Marital status is categorical, and earned income is quantitative. So I have 2 quantitative and 1 categorical. 1 categorical, 2 quantitative. The answer for this one would be E. I don't even know if they're trying to do 4, what it would have been. But there it is. So that one's not too bad. A statistics teacher asked 29 students in a statistics class how many minutes they spent on their homework assignment. The distribution of the variable of time on homework is blank, and they're wanting basically this is how they do a vocab problem and ask you for the definition of distribution. So distribution is what happens and how often it happens. So what is the number, and then how many do we get of that? So the difference between the longest time and the shortest time, that's range. Good Lord, I hope you don't put that answer. The description of what values the variable takes and how often it takes them, boom, that's it. Now, again, any time on this test, you should read all the answer choices. That's not where we save time. Now, I know that's the answer, but that one sounds good, but a lot of them might sound good. The average distance between each value of the variable, that's like some distorted version of standard deviation, but it isn't standard deviation. The average time the students spent on the assignment, so that could be mean or median for average, and the number of students who were asked the questions, that is the 29. So that would be, the number of students, like what we put in for when we get in calculator N. But definitely B is the right answer for that one. And this one also, this is... they're kind of giving you a trap here. I know a lot of time when we see one answer that's longer than the other ones, we have a tendency to pick that one. But and that's actually a pretty solid skill on a multiple choice. If you don't know, but if you read that one, you should not be putting A for the answer. Which of the following statements is true? So this is one of those where it's basically 5 true and false questions into one, and you have to figure out which one's the true. If the distribution is skewed right, the median is larger than the mean. So skewed right, this would be the median, and this is the mean. And then go and look. The median is larger than the mean? No, it is not. 50% of the scores in the distribution are between the first and third quartile. Boom, that's it. That's IQR. But let's go through these. The third quartile distribution is always greater than the mean. Okay, there is actually a case where the mean and the third quartile are the same number, and you get a box plot that has no line in the middle of it. That's because the median is over here. Oh, and I'm sorry, it says greater than the mean. So it depends on the shape of the distribution. Also, the mean can be, if it's strongly skewed, that mean can definitely get pushed down. The median of the distribution is always greater than the mean. Well, no, it isn't right there, so it certainly isn't always. Also, always isn't a great choice for a true-false. The range of the distribution is typically smaller than the interquartile range. That's, again, we could make one where they're equal, and the box plot would look like this. And maybe we'd have a median in there somewhere. But if I made a distribution that had like 1,000 2s, 1 3, and 1,000 4s, my maximum and my Q3 are going to be the same. All right, this is for later. It used to be in chapter 1. It no longer is. All right, the bar graph summarizes the response of dog owners to the question, where in the car do you let your dog ride? and then they have a bar graph, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but back seat, front passenger seat, floor, passenger lap, or the driver's lap. Let's see, way too much of that around here, and yeah, it's scary enough without that, but that really makes it scary. Anyhow, which of the following statements is true? So another one of these 5 true and false. It's one multiple choice question, but you got to know 5 things really to fully grasp the question. Each owner only gave one answer to the question. Well, it's almost 70% said they let them ride in the back seat, and somewhere around 60, well, let's say if it's 55, those two already add up more than 100%. So definitely not. The majority of the owners do not allow their pets to ride in the front passenger seat. So front passenger seat, over 50%, no. Roughly twice as many pets are allowed to sit in the front passenger seat as the passenger's lap. So passenger seat here, we had 55, and passenger's lap, let's see, excuse me, I'm gonna call that 35. Double 35 is 70. Even if that's not exactly 35, you double that and you're gonna be well past 55. So that's a big no for C. The vertical scale of the graph exaggerates the difference between the percentage, well, and just stop right there. That does not start at 0. So that's a way that they could ask, why is this graph misleading? This one is given us within a question. And the last one, the data could also be in a pie chart. We don't do that anymore, but the pie chart, you can only give one answer to the question to make it a pie chart. All right, the first sentence of Henry James's novel Turn of the Screw has 62 words. Good Lord, that's a run-on sentence. The 5-digit summary for the links of those words is, and they give us the number. So they took those 62 words, and then they give us the value of the 5-digit summary, and they say, according to the 1.5, is there any outliers? So what we have to do is this one, we got the rule, the 1.5 rule says you need the IQR, which is Q3 minus Q1, so that's 4. Then you take 1.5 IQR, which is 1.5 times 4, which is 6. Okay, then I take that 6 and I subtract it from Q1, so 2 minus 6 equals -4. There can't be a word that's -4, so no small outliers. And then 6, the Q3, plus 1.5 IQR plus 6 equals 12. The biggest number is 12. It's right on the boundary. That is not an outlier. It would have to be bigger than 12 to be the outlier. So no, there are no outliers. All right, the mean age of 4 people in a room is 30. If a new person's age is 55 enters the room, what's the new mean? All right, so I don't know how old the people are, but I do know that 4 times 30 equals 120. I do know their ages add up to be 120. Then I'm going to add a 55-year-old, and instead of dividing by 4, I'll divide by 5. And this is one where, to me, this is like so obvious. I just don't understand how anybody couldn't get it. But in the past, when we had this question, this did not go so well. Now, if it was the median, then you can't be determined. And one form of the test said it was a median question. One form was mean. So hopefully people didn't really know it wasn't they didn't know how to do this, but they were cheating and they thought they had the right answer and picked the wrong answer. But there it is. And again, the ages of the people right here to get average of 30 to 120, it could be 1, 1, 1, 1, and 116. It could be 30, 30, 30, 30. I don't know. I just know that the mean is 30. So, and again, then you reverse engineer the mean to figure out what the total ages was, add the new person, and divide by the new total. All right, here's a box plot. It says which of the, they want the 5-digit summary. So this is digit 1, digit 2, digit 3, digit 4, digit 5. We usually go backwards where we give you the 5-digit summary and ask you to do the graph, but that's, again, this should be a very easy question. If you know what the 5-digit summary is. So I'm going to drop this down. Now, if this width is 10, and I drop this now, they don't tell us exactly what it is, but my choices are 28 or 26. Well, first of all, it's not going to be 26, right? Because then I only have to look at one number and I know the answer probably. But it's definitely, this distance cannot be 4 if this whole distance is 10. have to be more like 2. Then this drops down, and that's maybe 39, maybe 38, but probably 39. So I come down here, so I got 28 for these, and then 39. So this one's out, and this one's out. Excuse me. And then I drop this down. It is clearly left of 50. So not 48, 51. I'm sorry, I'm backwards. It's left of the 50, so it's not the 51, it's the 48. So choice A. This one, they give us a histogram, and the question says, what percentage of the schools that have acceptance rates under 20%? Actually, that reminds me, this is a skill, a multiple choice skill. They'll give you a story, then a picture, and then the question. Okay, here's the deal. This one, the story is short. The College Board on your AP exam, the stories will not be short, they will be long. What you need to do is you need to read, if you see this, words, picture, words, answer, is you need to skip down and read the question first. Then you know what you're looking for. But right here it says, what percentage of school had an acceptance rates under 20%? I don't need that right there. Well, actually we do. Well, no, we don't. This one, it tells us the total is 25, which I'm going to use. But a lot of times you don't need that. Or you're only looking for one bit of information and you can go through and find it. Especially, I'm a slow reader. So for me, this is just something I've learned over time. Like, I wasn't taught this. This was just a trick I used because sometimes I would see the reading and I'd be like, I'm not even reading that. I'm just going to guess B and move on, because the thought of reading that entire story just makes me, it just makes me want to guess instead of bothering with it. But if you come down here and read the question first, then you can pick the information you out, or like in this case, we have one thing, and sometimes you don't need it at all. But anyway, this histogram, there's one person in the 10 to 15 and 3 people in the 15 to 20. And it says under 20%, so that's 1, and 3 is 4 total people out of 25, 16%. So I over-explained that. That should be like a 2-second problem. If you read this first, under 20, you're going to say 1 and 4. Now notice they give us, 1 and 3. They give us 4% as an answer, but that's not 4%. It's cumulative 4 of the 25. All right. Again, they give us this. Which of the following measures of spender and spread would be best one to use for summarizing the data? Because this data is approximately symmetric, mean and standard deviation. So not median, mean and standard deviation. What's this say up here? Don't even need to read it. Or none of your darn business, as I would kind of say. But anyway, and remember, and the reason they like mean and median is it uses all the data to calculate the mean, all the data to calculate the standard deviation. If the data was skewed, I'm just going to add this. It's not here, but this is a big one. Skewed or outliers. The answer is median, and IQR is the best. And if you say, well, wait a minute, when we do SOX, I'm not talking about writing up SOX. I'm talking about what's the best measurement given the situation. All right, last one. Again, boring stuff, graph, question, answers. Based on the graphs, which of the following statements is true? So I don't even need to read any of this. Again, it does say the first 60 words. That might come into play, but again, I'm just going to acknowledge there's 60 and forget the reading. Sometimes you have to read it anyway, but sometimes you don't. Dot plots of distribution of James's word lengths and start lengths would be identical. Okay, just because the box plot is exactly the same doesn't mean that the dot plot would be the same. Maybe this in this range. I know there's 25% here and I know there's 25% here, but what if his are all grouped up at 4, or hers, and his or hers are all grouped up here at 5? So all you know is 25% are in these two ranges, and you do have an identical box plot, but that does not mean the dot plot's the same. The longest word in the distribution of Rawlings' word length is shorter than 25% of the word of James. So here's Rawling, here's his tallest one. It's bigger than the 25% of the James that, no. It might be. Well, no, because we know the maximums there. So actually we know that's not true. The range of Rawlings words is smaller than the IQR of Starnes. So here's the length, and again, I'm not even we can look at it. It's from 6 to 2. I don't know if you can read those. 6 to 2 is 4. For Rawling, The range is bigger. Like how much bigger? It doesn't matter. It just said bigger. The median word length for Raleigh is larger than Starnes or James. So median is this line right here. Here's James and here's Starnes. And that, unless I misread it, the median for Raleigh is bigger than the reading for the median. I just said reading instead of meeting. Sorry, median. Okay, and then let's just do this last one too. What the heck? 75% of the words of Raleigh's distribution are longer than the median of Starnes. So here's the median of Starnes. Okay, now Raleigh, it's close. I know that 50% are larger. Okay, and then in this one, I would need all of this box. I would need all of this here, this entire thing to be shifted over larger than here. Now again, it might be, they might actually be all larger. That is possible, but we do not know that for fact, but we do know D is true for fact. All right, there's some multiple choice practice. Again, College Board's website has lots of multiple choice. You should absolutely do that. We posted the textbook's old practice test that has 10 multiple choice questions. I just went through, I don't know, there's like, we had to cut a page out to make it fair between the tests. To make so one didn't have 2 on the test and one didn't have 1. Everybody's got 1. But there's 1. There's some other stuff. Again, I can't promise it'll be the exact same, but I can promise that if you do all those multiple choice, if you listen to this video, you do the practice test, you do the College Board website with the practice test and all the little multiple choice on the progress checks they do, you will be fine. You don't do those things, I can almost guarantee you will not be fine. Anyhow, good luck.